Good evening, YouTubers, and welcome to Believable or Bullshit. My name is Matt. I will be your host this evening. First off, I'd like to say that I actually have a format lined up for this evening. The last couple of nights that we did it, it was more of a fly by the seat of your pants type thing. Sorry about that. But the first thing we're going to do tonight is we are going to take some email questions. And yes, they are regarding the ghost hunting show. The first question I've had quite a bit is, have I ever seen a ghost? I have not seen a ghost. I am open to seeing one. But honestly, I think the closest I ever got was my aunt when I was a kid was in real estate. She bought all this weird real estate constantly. She came across it. And they ended up buying a house that belonged to one of Al Capone's bodyguards. And the rumor has it is the house was haunted. I did stay over there one holiday, I think it was Thanksgiving. And I remember I got yelled at because my father told me not to put any more wood on the fireplace. And then the next morning there was more wood on the fireplace. And nobody seemed to want to admit they did it. And I don't know. But like I said, that was probably about as close as I've ever gotten. All right. So the second question I've been getting, have I ever used a Ouija board? No, I have not. And I'll tell you why. It's one of those scenarios where somebody one time asked me if I believed in God. And I said, sure, why not? I said, only a stupid person is not going to believe in God, because if you don't believe in God and then you die and there is one, you're screwed. Versus if you believe in one and you die and there isn't one, no harm, no foul. And that's kind of how I look at this, the scenario with the Ouija board. Don't screw around with something you don't understand. And that's kind of my philosophy for life. Also, I've been getting a lot of emails and requests to go to the Moore Hotel. The Moore Hotel, I don't know if you know, is considered one of Seattle's top 10 haunted paranormal hotspots. However, getting a hold of somebody right now during a global pandemic to let me take a long, drawn-out tour through this place has been kind of a problem. I have spoken to somebody, but I am still waiting to hear back from the PR director. So as soon as I hear back from them, I will know more about what we can expect and how we'll move forward with that. We are going to investigate Gary's house, the ones that I've been mentioning, with the crazy ass, dog, and one way or the other, I plan to get to the bottom of it. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. The second thing that we're going to do tonight, as part of our normal format, is we have been taking ghost stories from our viewers and subscribers. And again, thank you. I appreciate all the stories you've been sending in. I've read through an enormous amount of them, strangely enough, in a very short time. And it's real creepy shit. So again, thank you. Keep them coming, and I'll get them on the show as quick as I possibly can. So the first story we've got tonight, it is just simply titled "Ghost Story" by S. Beck in Sausalito. Okay, it starts off like this. At 10, my sister had a mental breakdown after a drunk driver killed her boyfriend. She was in the car and saw his horrific death. I guess that kind of thing will screw you up. Yet after a few months, she was more despondent, and my parents had no choice. And after a lengthy argument, they decided that it was stretch at Wedwood Asylum, an hour north of us, could do her some good. Nevertheless, just after a few months, Sarah became more distant and generally avoided eye contact during our Sunday and Wednesday visits. So on the way home one day, I finally asked my father, "Why is she so quiet? It's not like she's the same person anymore. She's changed." My father replied, "I'm sure she's fine, Jacob. They've got her heavily sedated, but it's just temporary. They want to make sure she doesn't hurt herself. It's for her own good." Yet, it wasn't just that. I already noticed that she was drugged, like our grandmother, right before they put her in her nursing home because she kept talking to her frying pans. However, Sarah started looking over her shoulder whenever we were there, like she expected someone to come up from behind. Though it wasn't until December things got crazy. Sarah got a weekend holiday pass, and all seemed to return as normal. However, later that night, rapping at my door, she awakened me from sleep. "You still alive?" I heard her ask in a hushed tone. "Yeah," I said, propping my pillows behind my back. "I'm glad you're home. Mom and Dad have been crazier than usual since you left." "I'm not back just yet, Squirt. Just for a couple of days, and then it's back to the funny farm." "I don't care," I said. "It's still nice." "Wedgwood's is haunted, you know," she just blurted out of nowhere. "A bunch of people died there in the 60s. A Dr. Bradford or Bradman did a lot of unnecessary surgery." "Really? Did the cops ever catch him?" I said, sitting up, now more interested than ever. "Honest to God, the nurses talk about it all the time. I think some of the patients cornered the good old doc because the staff found him dead in an empty cell. He had a pair of pencils sticking out of his trachea. You know, if I ever end up dead, tell Mom and Dad why." "Wow, you've seen ghosts?" "Yeah, I think anyway, but they keep me pretty drugged up. Although they do say once a year somebody's going to be killed by the spirits. They always find someone hanging from a makeshift noose, normally from bed sheets." I swallowed my feelings of contentment, depressed by the prospect of losing Sarah entirely. I didn't know much about ghosts or the paranormal. Most kids didn't. But I hung on every word she said, although we decided it was best not to notify our parents and keep this little secret hidden. However, that would change 2 months later. Our phone rang. It was about 2 in the morning, waking my father. Sticking my ear to the cold wall of my bedroom, I tried to listen to the conversation from my parents' room, although the following cries coming from my mother convinced me of it being something terrible. Moments later, my door swung open. "Jacob," my father said, "wake up and come downstairs." I didn't bother putting on my robe and slippers. As I entered the living room, my mother sobbed uncontrollably. On my sister's teddy bear pillow, she called Mr. Benny. "Sit down, son," my mother said, holding back tears. "We have something we need to tell you. We know it's going to be hard, but it's going to be all right. I'm sure we'll get through this as long as we stick together." "Jacob," my father said, "there was an accident tonight at Wedgwood. Sarah's dead, son." I couldn't believe what I heard. I never felt like that before. The agony, the pain. However, it was intolerable. Our last conversation hit my head. I screamed, "How? How did she die?" Hesitating for a moment, my father looked at my mother as if to get her approval, before he said, "I don't think it's appropriate, Jacob. It's disrespectful." But my mother suddenly whispered something into his ear, clearly changing his mind. "They found her hanging in her room with bed sheet she had fashioned into a noose, Jacob. It's been 20 years now, but I haven't forgotten that night. I'm still visiting Sarah's grave at least once a month. I like her, bring her fresh flowers. I sure miss her." Well, that was one of the stories. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry I got lost a couple of times. I'm just getting used to these new glasses. Again, that story came to us from S. Beck, and I highly appreciate it. Let's see. What we are going to do is, if you want to hit me up on my website, it's dmracy.com, and send me all of your suggestions. And I think what I might do is I might write a few short stories for the show, probably about the length of this one here, and we'll go ahead and we'll put those on and see what people think of them. But now, in the meantime, I still want to hear from you guys. If you've got videos if you've got video clips, if you've got stories. Again, no pornography. As much as we all enjoy it, just no pornography. Can't put it on YouTube. But I would be more than willing to take a look and take a listen at anything you guys have. And don't forget, always like and subscribe the videos. To subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, tell your families to subscribe, tell your enemies to subscribe. I'm trying to put together as much content and keep it as flexible as possible, but I also want to kind of make an eclectic a selection of things. And that way I catch everybody's attention. You know, everybody doesn't come on and go, oh, I don't want to talk about ghost stories. I'd rather do about the ghost videos or debunking videos. So I think what we're going to do, the Haunted Doll should be here on the 21st. And my spirit box, as somebody mentioned, is coincidentally, is also going to be here on the same day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I do the next show, and I'm going to open the doll up live on air, and we're going to do a spirit box session with a little sucker, and see if we can raise Elvis Presley or Prince, and hopefully we'll get a good reaction, and you know, not be cursed to hell for the rest of our lives. So, funny thing, I told my wife that I bought a Haunted Doll on eBay, and she said, enjoy the single life. So, she's not really into the paranormal thing. Yeah, so, anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And please make sure that you look for next week's episode. All right? Thank you guys so much, and you have a super duper week.